Welcome to this next episode of YouTube, where I've entitled it The Snow Melt, and also known as the Ugly Season, where everything is coming out of the snow that's been laying around since January. That deer leg is actually not one of them. That was a fresh deer leg that we just fed. But certainly a lot of mud, a lot of dirty snow. We could use a rain to help clean things up, and we certainly will be busy with this year's Working for Wolves. We have a lot of straw in this pen, and the Working for Wolves program is something that we offer usually every spring, and that is when people volunteer to get their hands dirty and help us make the ambassador lives better, make their enclosures better, to do projects to help, whether everything from building fence to putting up visual barriers to planting trees to doing a fire break. And this year our big concentration is obviously going to be straw, and as well as probably doing a little bit of burning as well. So anyways, so Shadow's doing better. We have had our bouts of howling have decreased a little bit. He is actively eating. This is a deer leg that was fed this morning, and carrying it around. We are still seeing less raised leg urination that we had been seeing, obviously, when Malik was around. So we do know that there is a difference in what he's doing, how his behaviors are changing things, but he's greeting well, and we have to be real cautious with him, though. He's got some things that intimidate him. One thing that intimidates him is the camera, and a direct eye contact or a camera kind of in his face. You'll watch his ears just turn sideways as that camera kind of moves towards him. So we have to be kind of careful about the things that we expose him to, and keep in mind that it's a transition time for him, and we will continue to work with him as we need to. Over in Grizzer world, obviously, again, relaxation is kind of Grizzer, the name of Grizzer's game, and he's having, again, the same kind of effect as the rest of the pack. Lots of mud. The snow is melting and kind of giving way, so we've been putting in some fresh hay, and Grizzer hadn't had hay before. He'd only had straw, so this cover hay is something different for him, and he's kind of scent rolling in it. He likes the smell of it, and we like the feel of it. It's actually something that seems to be quite comfortable for him, so we've been adding cover hay whenever we can. Over in the exhibit pack, things are a little bit tense, and normally this time of the year things kind of die down a little bit, but we've had a couple of warm days, and then we've had a couple of cool nights, and we are sitting the tail end of some of this winter dominance behavior. And obviously Denali's kind of on the bottom, and what's really stimulating this is that Bolt seems to have a little bit of a hormonal surge this week. We've been noticing him quite a bit more active, definitely a tail in a much higher posture. He's testing and challenging a little bit, and so that's creating some anxiety. Notice Denali's tail is completely tucked here. This is not a comfortable position, obviously, for Denali to be in. He does not do well with those young animals, and there's a little bit of that hormonal stuff. So we do watch Denali, as we said, a little bit on the bottom of the rank order, but Luna is as active as Bolts is in dominance, and so it's not just Bolts that Denali has to kind of deal with it. We still have the snow pile, and I'm afraid that'll be here for a while. We're going to need some significantly warmer days than we're having to get rid of that stimulus in the front of the exhibit. And I say stimulus because the wolves do like to climb on it. They are still climbing on it, sliding down it. It is one of those things where it has drawn a lot of the wolves' attention this winter, and we certainly don't mind having snow piles for them to play on. It's just that this one's pretty big. It's going to take us a while to get rid of it. But, like I said, it's not just Denali that's on the bottom. Luna is also getting a little dominance from Bolts there. And Denali's next to Bolts, trying to get a little bit of a opportunity there. But this is really probably driven by Bolts. Bolts has got a little bit of, a hormonal surge, and it's kind of making everybody a little excited. And that'll subside. We know definitely just by our experience that the 2-year-old males, once they reach that 3 years of age, they kind of mellow a little bit. So But Luna and Denali are not the only ones. This is Aiden. Aiden's got his tail wagging here, though. He approaches Bolts. He does a rub under chin there, and that kind of stimulates him to interact with Bolts. And notice Bolts isn't as quick to go on to Aiden, but Luna, she pins Aiden readily. And then once Luna has Aiden down, he comes over. But if you notice, Aiden's tail is completely different than Bolt's. First of all, Aiden started this. He started the invite by doing that little bit of a scrape on the ground there and rubbing under Bolts' chin. He invited this behavior. He may regret it right now, but he did invite this behavior. And so, as you can see, he's a little bit focused more on Luna. Gets a little more antagonistic with Luna, definitely a little bit more growling. Bolts just continues to do a ride up, rolls Aiden over, but Aiden's tail is not tucked. This is not an intimidating thing for Aiden like it was for Denali. This has got some social behavior to it. And again, these young ones, they try and see what they can get away with. But Aiden's very comfortable and very capable of letting both of those know when they've had enough. Kind of like grabbing your ear. Actually, I think Bolts is cleaning the inside of his ear there for a while. But Aiden can control it. And you can see that by his body posture and his tail posture. So this is a short-lived thing. Like I say, this is something that Bolts just... these mounting episodes kind of just came up. But like I said, Aiden taking it all in stride. Very relaxed. Again, loving the smell of that cover hay as the snow melts and we get a little bit of dampness around it. We'll be moving all of that and out of for the Working for Wolves program. So lots of straw to move. That's it for YouTube this week. A little bit shorter because not a lot of visually appealing things going on in here. So thanks for watching, and we will see you next week.